So that's one of the big fundamental questions of season 2 and beyond. What would these characters do if you knew you had 5 years to live? What would you do with your life? It gives us two really powerful story drivers in season 2. First of all, from a place of mystery and mythology, Ben and Michaela, Sanvi, they're on the case, if you will, right? I mean, Michaela is literally a detective, but Ben and Sanvi are de facto detectives. And so much of season 2 involves them trying to kind of solve the mystery of the death date. Is it written in stone? No pun intended. Can they work around it? Can they undo it? Is there anything that's going on in their head? Is there anything about the airplane that presents a clue to help them understand, is there a way that they can survive this death date? So a lot of the mystery of season 2 is so focused around that idea of the death date. But then the other side of the equation is emotional, right? If you knew that you had 5 years to live, what choices would you make about your emotional life, about your relationships, dreams that you have never tried to pursue, closure that you haven't been able to create? And so in so many of the relationships within the show, the fact that everybody knows they may only have a limited time left is a real driver of emotion. And I think a lot of the soapy side of the show is very much informed by the death date as well.
Are you going to take into account the fact that they not only do they only have 5, but they've lost 5 years, so 6.
Exactly.
They are approaching this.
That's right.
We lost this, and now we only have this much time.
Very much so, and you know, Ben is kind of the perfect embodiment of that, because as a father and a husband, to have lost 5 years of parenthood in regard to one of your children, to have missed so many pivotal emotional rites of passage for your child, it's almost too much to process. And then you know, the same thing, you know, in your marriage, and to know that you know, someone else had come into your bed and been there for your spouse, it's impossible to comprehend. And so you're dealing with the baggage of that time lost, and now that being coupled with knowing that you only have a limited amount of time, it forces you to kind of accept the past, make some kind of peace with it, because if you spend the next 5 years dwelling on the 5 years that you just missed, then you're almost doubling down on your misery rather than doubling down on the potential for redemption and for living in the moment. And so it's a real dilemma. It's a real emotional dilemma, not just for Ben, but obviously for Michaela and for everybody who was on the plane.
Can you tell about some of what we're seeing in flashbacks?
Yeah, so the flashbacks continue predominantly in season 2. Almost in every episode, I try to create flashbacks that inform and round out and dimensionalize our characters. There will continue to be more flashbacks on the airplane, in the airport before the plane took off, life before the plane took off, a few more flashbacks to life for those who had been left behind while the plane had been missing. So all of the above. And typically in an episode, the flashback speaks to something that's happening in real time within the episode. So I like to think that the flashback dimensionalizes and informs our understanding of the characters, but also typically will answer some question, often a mysterious question, within the body of the episode. And if not within the episode, will speak to something that's an arc that is playing throughout the season. So keep an eye out for those flashbacks.
Okay.
One more.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is there something early in the season that you can't wait for the fans to see? Like a moment, an episode that you can point us to and say, don't miss that.
There's something really surprising, and there's so many surprises. But to answer your question, in episode 2, season 2, episode 2, there's something very surprising about the Ben and Grace marriage that I think is going to really take people by surprise, and also I hope really delight them, and it sends Ben and Grace in an unexpected trajectory. That's the positive. On the downside, the season takes a really dark turn in episode 7, and that's going to be really pivotal, and it's going to drive story through the back half of season 2. So wait for it.
Okay, and tell us that everybody survives gunshot wounds, please.
Oh my goodness, let's hope so.